Shush, don't move, don't make a sound. They're out there somewhere. They're coming. We're hiding. Don't let on. Of all the things that you could never imagine that you'd have to do is escape from the aliens in outer space. Yes, and now welcome to a truly unique concept. I bet the game that they actually thought that would never ever occur for people to sit down opposite each other at a table and play is hide and seek. It sounds insane, and yet here we are in a game that managed to do this concept absolutely beautifully. It is a game filled with suspense, drama, intrigue, double bluffing, guessing, all sorts. There's a real sense of kind of delicious tension going on, and it is amazing to behold the effect that this happens. This game is called Escape from the Aliens in Outer Space, and it is basically hide and seek in a space station, running on the news from carnivorous aliens in space. It is so much fun to play. It's bizarre, it really is bizarre, and yet it is a great turn of events. The idea of what you need to do is basically help your beautiful, fantastic, wonderful people escape before it's all too late. Escape? No, flesh bag. You must not escape. You must stay and be invited to dinner. Dinner, you see, because you see, you are dinner. Now, of course, you would not want to run away and stop the game, would you? You need to be here to play the game. It's very important that you don't hide and run away. Keep making noise, little things. We would not be able to lose you in the dark if you didn't make such delicious noise. Is it gone? Oh, thank goodness. Yes, that's the other thing I forgot to mention. You're not just hiding against the game. You're hiding from the other players. You see, when you take control of this game, you are randomly dealt a character to play. You could be either a vicious, hungering alien or a loyal, good member of the Space Corps. Now, you see, who you are depends on the game that you play. If you are, of course, a valiant, low survivor, you really need to get out of there quickly before it's all too late. However, if you're one of those insidious, horrible creatures, you need to try and escape as quickly as possible. You need to get out. You don't want them to catch you. Catch you? Of course we want to catch you. We want you to come and play. You're so delicious. All that lovely, tender muscle you've energized by running around for us. Adrenaline tastes so sweet, you see. Now, of course, all you lovely characters, don't stray too far. We wouldn't want you to miss out on the joy of the game. For you see, we have such a large family, and a large family needs to be fed, you see. So much delicious meat, you would not want it to go to waste now. So as you go through our delightful home, you must stay and join us for the feast. Right, so what can you do to help yourself? Well, you're all on board the space station Selva. You're part of an important mission to investigate strange goings on. Unfortunately, all manner of hell is breaking loose, and you need to be able to deal with this and escape. So the idea is that you are basically trying to make your way through the station to escape. You have one of these amazing pads which basically maps out your route, and depending upon the different adventure that you want to play, they're either harder or easier maps. So, for example, you could start off on the basic station, and what you do here, this is basically called the Galilei. Now, as you can see, in the heart of the place, there is a place for the human contacts and the alien contacts. Now, the idea basically is you must try to get to one of these four different escape pods around the edge of the board, and you can basically move each turn. The human players can move one move each turn, and the alien players can move one or two players each turn. So in other words, this is a hunt. Now, the way to get out of there is to try and be as stealthy and secretive as possible. By all means, you must not be able to reveal yourself, because who knows what will happen otherwise. Who knows? We know, flesh bag. Of course, we want you to run. Running makes you all the more tasty. So we will set out from here and we will hunt you. You will try to flee, running around, making noise, telling us exactly where you are so we can zero in and catch you. And that's where the fun really begins, isn't it? Right, okay, so we need to get you out. How does the game actually run? Well, each turn you're basically going to draw one of these cards. This is basically the deck that represents your journey through the station. Most of the cards are either divided up into green cards or red cards. Now, I'm sure you can work out which is the right colour, yes? So, the idea basically means that if you draw a red card, unfortunately, you've made noise. This is a bad thing because it tells everyone exactly where you are. You need to therefore say out loud to the other players, noise in sector, and then depending which one you're in, you must reveal exactly where you are. This is not good because it means that everyone else can zero in your position. If you're nearly out of the danger zone or if you're nearly to an escape pod, this is especially important because you need to get there fast before anyone can get there to you. Remember that the aliens can move 2 spaces to your 1. Now, however, if you draw a green card, you haven't made any noise. However, you can say that you did to throw people off the scent. For example, if you were over here, for example, in sector T4, and you're nearly out, you might want to throw people off the scent saying like, noise in sector L2, which would basically mean that you're trying to give a false trail. False trails are for cowards. You're not playing a coward's game, are you? You want to be brave. You want to make this all the more entertaining, don't you? Now, the other thing that I forgot to tell you before is the fact that all of us lovely people, we have so many special powers. For example, we have abilities to change the rules slightly. Maybe we can move more. Maybe we can move silently. Maybe we can basically teleport. Maybe there's things that you don't know about us that we're so itching to show you. But all is not lost, however, because no matter how many powers the evil players have, the human crew also have some good powers as well. For example, you might be the captain, you might be the pilot or the psychologist or the soldier or the executive officer. For example, the soldier can attack once in the game and not use that attack card. The psychologist begins the game in the alien sector. There's a lot of things that are basically going on that can make you easier. Now, the idea is that you're trying to use every single advantage you can to survive this game, because this will be a tough game. If you win this game, you deserve plenty of awards. So, in terms of things that might help you, as I said, most cards will either be a red card or a green card. However, there are more cards that make things more interesting. There are a set of white cards. Now, if you draw a white card, you basically announce silence in all sectors. Now, you might have actually picked up a silence card. All is fair. However, you may have picked up something a little bit more special. Now, these cards here are special items that you can find which may help you. It could basically save you from certain death, allow you to create a false trail. For example, if you find a sensor, you can play this card on another player. That player must immediately announce their exact coordinates. And obviously, this is a rather mean thing to do. However, if it saves your life, well, maybe it's not so much bad if they basically get to become a tasty snack. Now, the other things you could do is you could find a clone, you could put a spotlight on, you could basically play a defense card, which means you could save you from attack. Now we need to talk about attack. Attacking. We like attacking. Attacking is when we catch you. Attacking is when we give you a special hug. A hug with lots of teeth. Now, when an alien player, such as our good selves, has basically captured a human player and wants to make an attack, they can basically choose a nominated sector next to themselves and say, I attack in sector, for example, I attack in sector C4 because I believe there's a tasty human snack there. Now, if I've done my job well, anything in that zone is instantly killed and eaten. This is good for feeding. Now, if the alien player has successfully killed and eaten a human player, well, for a start, they begin to mutate. Yes, we get even stronger. Instead of moving 1 move, we can now move 1, 2, or 3 moves. The game is getting faster. This is good. Of course, unfortunately, occasionally there's a player who is an alien and we eat them by mistake. Shame. Still tasty. Don't let things go to waste. Now, if you're a human player and you have been eaten, well, the time is ripe for a change, and you like change. Well, you're going to be having a whole lot of new changes, because welcome to the family. You are now an alien player too. You get to hunt your friends and eat them. Yes, the alien players win if they are basically the last people in the game. If all the human players have been destroyed, and then there is nothing left but the aliens to play and feed in the station, because that is surely their rightful home. Right, attacking is a terrible business. You want to avoid that at all costs. Lay false trails, use your item cards if you can do. Now, these can only be used once, but trust me, when you get them, they're really, really useful. Maybe some of them are worth saving for later in the game when things get a little bit hairy, but some of them you just use straight away, because if you can lose your pursuers, you have an advantage, and that advantage will last as long as you keep it going. If they lose your track once, you might be able to avoid them for the rest of the entire game. Of course, depending upon where you're actually encountering them, this may prove a lot more difficult in smaller zones. Yes, in terms of great replayability, this game is provided with not one, but 8 different maps. Now, each different map will have its own different types of strategy. The base game, the Galilei, the research zone, is great for new players. It's kind of big, it's kind of open, there's different routes out of there. It's more likely you'll survive, not necessarily, but more likely. However, things like smaller zone, the Galvanigome or the Morgenlandgome, these are basically good for creative players, experienced players who might be turned of leading false trails, going back, going forwards, trying to survive for as long as possible. I mean, the game does last for 40 turns. That's the maximum last it can length. However, if one of the players manages to get to a thing and escape, the game is over, unless you want to fight for second place or who's best chew toy afterwards. Now, the way that works is if a player is lucky enough to get to an escape pod, what they basically do is they have to draw an escape pod card. Now, at the beginning of the game, you randomly deal out the number of different escape pod cards as they're up to players. And, well, plus into the actual pods there are. Unfortunately, some of the escape pods work, and some of them are broken. Guess what happens if you draw a broken card? Yes, that's right, it's no good to you. You've basically got to go and find a completely different escape pod and start all over again, which can be especially hairy if the aliens were right behind you and you were running for your life. Oh my goodness, this game just keeps getting more and more and more tense. It's kind of the thing where you can be building with sort of nervous excitement, or you could just kind of go deathly quiet and just constantly looking left and right because you still don't know who people are. But in terms of the actual strategy, remember you have got your items to help you. So, what you're going to see is an evolution of this game as things go on. So it's going to start off very quiet, very cautious, people getting nervously excited, throwing false trails away. But as soon as people start getting closer, and especially after one or more players have been eaten, the game really kind of ramps up. Because basically you're going into somewhat of a feeding frenzy. Did someone mention feeding? We like feeding. You will feed us, won't you? We do so want this game to be such a delicious amuse bouche. Some might say we're calling working up an appetite, in fact. Yes, you will come and play, won't you? The more, the merrier. The more we can have up to 8 of you playing at once. 8 delicious snacks. Won't that be fun? So, can you imagine 8 of you trying to escape in such a lovely, confined space? Oh, I wonder if you'll get to an escape pod. Did you know some of them are broken? What? No, I was just looking at the map. Everything's fine. So, what we need to do is we need to communicate with the other players. I'm pretty sure you're okay, aren't you? Yeah? You wouldn't try to eat me in my sleep, would you? You wouldn't tell the aliens where I was? Good, right. We're going to get to there. You go to escape pod number 2, I'm going to go to escape pod number 1, and we're going to get out of here. I'm pretty sure that one's already broken, but do you know what? These 2 should be fine. Right, okay, so I've got a couple of white cards left. We're going to get out there. It's going to be safe. Right, what, you're in zone D. That's fine. I'm in zone A. I'm miles away from you. It's fine. You go that way. I'll go this way. Now, time to use a power, I think. Now, these powers are lovely. Unfortunately, you can use them only once, so best to use them at the best possible moment. If one of your players has nearly escaped, time to put on a burst of speed. For example, if you are the surge alien, or if you are even the invisible alien, this can play to your advantage very, very well. Now, you wouldn't want the players to use their sneaky cards. It feels so much like cheating, doesn't it? Now, obviously the time is right to use your strategy here. Do you try to get an early burst early on and put the prey on after its ease? Or do you try and wait for the best possible moment, the choiciest, juiciest moment to strike and complete your victory. Ultimately, you need to be able to get there before it's too late. If even one player manages to get to escape pod, then they're out of the game. Now, you could be quite open in your lovely, lovely predatory instincts. You could carefully announce to the entire game, I am a lovely alien and I'm here to eat you all. Of course, if you have been eaten by an alien, then you know exactly who ate you and you know who the new alien player is. Fun and joy abound. It is time to get feasting. Right, nearly out. Got a card left, going to be using it. I know I'm in that section. Right, okay, we're going to get out of here. Right, before we do, what I want to do is one of your last tour around the cards just to see exactly what you're up against. Let's have a quick and final table view. All right, let's have a proper look at some of the beautiful artwork here. Now, as you can see, the theme is very kind of like dark, pitched into the night here, really. So you can have this half silhouetted, half sort of profile figures. Brilliant exact characterization. So if you can have a look at detail at some of the alien characters, they really kind of exude a feeling of menace. The different styles and abilities are kind of like really kind of glimpses in the dark. You certainly wouldn't want to be meeting any of these in a dark station at night because they're fairly terrifying. Even the good characters are kind of portrayed in this almost sort of like half pitying bluish light, the idea that yes, they're desperate, they're surviving. It's a very sort of like Aliens James Cameron vibe here. The idea that if they survive, it's only through the skin of their teeth. They desperately want to get out. Here's the grizzled captain here trying to get his people out alive. These are the item cards. The idea of kind of like brutal tech that you're picking up. Phasing it out of existence. Teleporting or freezing yourself away. Getting valuable, desperate surges of energy just when it's needed. The actual boards themselves, this acts as a fantastic reference for all the different powers in the game that you might need to remember, and also all the abilities of all the different cards and what you need to do in each sector. So there's kind of a built-in rules reminder actually in the actual base of the game. So this is a fantastic, really good clue. Here's where you basically track all the different movements that you write down, so you can basically prove exactly where you've been. So it basically stops people cheating, which is a fantastic idea. Obviously, if you know what you are, you can basically say, no, I was definitely there ago. Last time ago I was there. So someone kind of goes, I attack sector D3. There's no way you can't go, no, I'm not in D3, because you blatantly are. Or you're not, as the case may be. So the different maps, as I said, give a great amount of different strategy depending on which way you go to. Galilei is very, very big and open. When you want to, for example, Morganland, there are only 3 escape pods, which means kind of a narrowing down of strategies, what's possible in the time. And as you play around, there's different creative ways, because there are certain spaces, the crossed hatch-ons, which are blocked, which basically means you're forced to go in certain different routes. Enough playing, meatbag! It is time to feast! Time for the game to be over. So, final thoughts. What do we reckon of Escape from the Aliens in Outer Space? Well, this is a really fun game. It can be a bit bizarre when you're playing it, but if you get the right group of people who are going to basically go into this with the right attitude, you're going to have a lot of very weird fun. And what more could you ask for that out of life? So, the idea really is this premise that basically the hide and seek with added spiky DC elements is absolutely amazing. The artwork and the theme and the graphics is beautifully done and really fits into kind of the mind space ready. The way that the game starts out, it kind of naturally settles into this kind of like tense, drawn out, almost like laughing with tension escapade that you find yourselves on. In terms of different players basically revealing or not revealing little kind of ticks or gives or tells, gives away. Poker players would do well at this game. I think they would if they were successful ones. So the idea that it's going to be a pretty unique experience, but you are going to have a lot of fun. I think afterwards you'll either be kind of going home going, oh, not again, not again. Or you'll be like, yes, when are we playing it again? When are we playing it again? In terms of how this went down, I played this at the club in Headingley a couple of times and it was great fun. Absolutely loved it. As you can tell, I bought the ultimate edition of the game. In terms of how it went down at home, some people liked it, some people did not like it at all because basically it creeped them out a little bit, the idea of hiding and seeking, all the rest of it. But overall, this is going to be a fun game. I think if you're on an event, like a convention or something, this is great to sit down at a game of, especially if you can do it in the evening when the day's over, get people around in a semi-darkened room and have a lot of good fun. Yeah, this is going to be a bundle of laughs. If you kind of like this suspense idea of playing, then you will have a lot of fun with this as well. This could be worth you picking up for your home as well. It might not be a game that gets played very often, but if you can play it well in the right atmosphere, the right theme, the right kind of special effects, get people to dress up or whatever, you can really make a fun time of it. So, Escaping the Aliens in Outer Space, a great game. Now, if you want to basically get in contact with us and find out more, we'd love to hear from you. Please comment, please tell us, please subscribe, do anything you can do to kind of get on board this. It's been a very weird and wonderful adventure. So please find us at rogueartistcreations.com. You can find us on Facebook, like us, follow us at Rogue Artist Creations. Our Twitter handle is at Rogue A Creations. We're trying to put more stuff out there. And if however, you can find me at GMFirst at rogueartistcreations.com. So hopefully something a bit weird, something a bit new. Now, let's get out of here. Because I don't know about you, but I'm hungry and it's time to feed. What, you thought I was a human player all along? No! Now comes the feast. I forgot to say, for those fans of the original Alien trilogy, we also have a ship's cat. Here, Jones. Here, Jones. Right. Have a lovely time, and we will see you next time for some more Rogue reviews. See you then.